Welcome back one and all for the next episode in the LFC files, the good, the bad and the ugly of Liverpool FC. Now the format's going to change a little bit. For those that follow the blog, it's going to be a little bit like that, so I'm going to have a little snippet of a headline or something which is going to support the good, the bad and the ugly elements, just as a bit of a reference and just so you're not staring at my mug for the entire video. So before we get into it, I want to say a huge thanks to everyone for subscribing and for, of course, viewing. Yeah, nothing's going to happen without that, and all the likes and everything from the previous video. Yeah, much better than I expected, I have to say. Please keep it up. Tell your friends, and yeah, let's take the channel forward, move it up the rankings, and really get it on the map. That's a huge help, and I can't express how grateful I am for all the love and the support so far. So thanks a lot for that. So let's get into it. For the good, I've got a clip of the BBC here, but what can we say? The Leeds performance has to be the good. What a fantastic performance from the whole team. Not least of all, I have to say, Curtis Jones. Man, I'm shocked. But the boy's got talent. This is without doubt, and I think his all-round performance has got to be the best he's played in a Liverpool shirt since he broke into the first team. In some respects, I think that screamer that he scored against Everton in the FA Cup a few years back, I think that probably done him more harm than good, you know, because I think there's always a lot of expectation after that. But to be fair, in this week's game, he played out of his skin. He harried, he pressed, he chased, he done everything. So I just hope that he keeps his place in the team. Yeah. We all know Klopp has his favourites, as every manager does, and yeah, let's hope he can keep Thiago out. I don't really rate Thiago that much. Of course he's a good player, there's no doubt, but I'm not really sure he's what Liverpool need. This season you can see that we've needed Curtis Jones, so hopefully if he stays free of injury, if he can keep his form up, I think he's going to solve a huge problem for Jurgen Klopp, and I think he's going to potentially save the club a load of money. So well done, Curtis Jones. And in addition to him, I think the whole team played well. Robertson on the left seems to have got his mojo back after a couple of indifferent outings, let's put it that way. I think Trent had a stormer as well, moving into this sort of central midfield position. He wasn't bombing up the right as he usually has done, and leaving a hole as big as the Atlantic for someone to run into. So that was good. He seemed a bit more disciplined in the midfield role, as I say, but it was very good. As I said in the last episode, yeah, I think just play the boy in midfield and be done with it. Yeah, probably a right back's going to be cheaper than a midfielder. And for those that remember, when Trent was in the under 18s or what have you, in his sort of youth days, he was always playing on the right wing. He was never playing at right back. And of course, Ibrahima Konate, what a fantastic performance as well, covering for Trent, keeping that right side of the defence covered. Great game, great game. The whole team played well. Virgil van Dijk, I think he's maybe ageing slightly, but he had a great game. Everyone played well. The team, it seemed to click. And after the game, Klopp did say that this was the performance of the season, and you know what? I have to agree with him. It was the best performance. The front three as well. Yeah, Gakpo, he had a good game. Salah played well, took his goals well, and so did Diogo Jota. Of course, the cameos from Firmino and Nunes, the latter getting his goal as well in the 90th minute or something late on. Great team performance. We've got absolutely nothing to complain about if the team is going to put this level of performance in every week. But to coin a very famous phrase, one swallow doesn't make a summer, unfortunately. And so therefore the team needs to carry that performance and that level, that hunger into the next game. So Terry Cooper, be afraid. Be very afraid, my friend. Hope I don't need my words. And that brings us nicely on to the bad, which is, the controversy over Cody Gakpo's opening goal. To be honest, it did look as if Trent, maybe accidentally on purpose, gave gave the ball a bit of a nudge to bring it under control, so to speak. Yes, we got an advantage. I can understand why the Leeds fans are upset. But to be honest, this happens in football. Yeah, shit happens. What can you do? On another day, maybe they'd have pulled Trent up. Leeds would have got a free kick and the outcome could have been different. Although, considering Leeds lost 6-1, I don't think they've got a great deal to argue about, to be honest. And of course, we got the Express here with their headline, which I read, Leeds left fuming over Liverpool handball as VAR opt not to rule out Cody Gakpo goal. That's football. We all need a little bit of luck, and this could well be the little bit of luck that Liverpool need to get their season going. Finally. But there's been a lot of false dawns, and hopefully this won't be one of them. Bad luck, Leeds. This is just how it goes. Liverpool have had similar things happen, I'm absolutely sure. I haven't got any to mind, but I think every club has this from time to time. There's always a decision that goes against you. It's just how it is. And now we come on to the ugly. What has been ugly at Liverpool FC this week? Well, frankly, not much, to be honest. Nothing really worth too much of a mention. I did find this in the Telegraph from former Liverpool defender and legend Jamie Carragher, where he's described the club as being weak and negligent for pulling out of the race to sign Jude Bellingham. Yeah. To be honest, I can't disagree more. At the end of the day, Liverpool is a business, just like all of the other 19 clubs in the Premier League and all of the clubs in the leagues below them. They have to make business decisions. And I think 130 million for Jude Bellingham, don't get me wrong, the boy is a class act. 130 million? Maybe a tick too much. And this tends to happen with a lot of young English players. The prices get massively overinflated. A little bit of hype, I would say. Yeah, in that 130 million, if he was at 80 or 90 million, you could say yes. But 130? Nah, I don't really see it. And at the end of the day, Liverpool have to protect their own backs. Yeah, we're talking about football here. And Jude Bellingham, he's one player. He is a class act. But is it fair to say that there aren't any other players around that could probably do just as good or maybe an even better job? I'd struggle to believe that, to be honest. And of course, following that, there's been no end of speculation. Let's have a look. Who have we got? Adrian Rabiot, apparently the club are interested in. Also, Ryan Gravenberch at Bayern Munich. There's been a lot of talk about him. And of course, the story that won't go away, Mason Mount, who I think is a fantastic player, and he will make a perfect replacement for the ageing Mr. Henderson, who has been a fantastic servant for the club. Yeah, he's not quite the player he used to be, unfortunately. Done well the other night, but yeah, I think Mason Mount would be a great replacement. So I disagree with Kara's point. I understand where he's coming from, but weak. I would say the opposite. They've been very strong. Negligent? Absolutely not. If they had spent 130 million on Jude Bellingham, I think you could probably argue that's a bit negligent. Considering they're saying, rumour has it, that Klopp has 200 million to spend on players in the summer. If he blows 130 of it on one, it's not going to leave him much room for any more. And let's face it, I think Liverpool do need another good defender, maybe a good right back. The lad they've got from Celtic seems to have a lot of injury issues at the moment. There's more than one midfielder that's needed. It looks as if there's definitely a need for a long-term replacement for Fabinho as well. He's kind of hot and cold. The whole team, they've not really been great. Yeah. You've heard my theory from last week about the hangover from last season. It could well be. But at the end of the day, legs are needed in midfield. I would even go as far as to say a replacement for Matip as well, because there's only those central defenders at the moment. Nat Phillips doesn't seem to have a future at the club, and young Rhys Williams as well. By all accounts, he seems to be on his way out as well. So, to be perfectly honest, I think the club have made the right call. Let's not get dragged into this kind of bidding war. And of course, there was a suggestion early on this week as well that Jude Bellingham is having second thoughts about leaving Dortmund this close season. So who knows? Maybe next season the boy could well be ours yet. So that pretty much wraps it up for this week. Before we finish, let's have a look forward to tomorrow's game. Liverpool welcome Nottingham Forest, of course, and hopefully, please, they can build on the last result at Leeds and really turn Forest over and set a marker for the rest of the league. So that pretty much wraps it up for me for this week. Before we go, let's have a quick mention about tomorrow's game. Nottingham Forest come to Anfield. Hopefully the Reds can build on that fantastic result in the week and really move forward and see if we can qualify for a European slot. For those that have been reading the blog so far this season, I've been saying for a while now, there's 15 games left to play. Liverpool have got a lot of points to play for. There's 14 games, there's 13 games, there's 12 games, 11, and it's slowly crept down, and now Liverpool have got 8 games left to go. It's not looking good, but it is doable. There is still a fair bit of football to play for. So hopefully Liverpool can get a good run going now. If they play the way they did early in the week, then I have no doubt that they'll qualify. Hopefully Curtis Jones will keep his place in the team, and Luis Diaz, it's maybe a bit too early for a start for him, but I'd like to see him play some role in the game as well. Maybe even a start for Núñez. He looked pretty sharp when he came on the other night. So just finally, I've got a mention here on my notes. For those that don't know, there have been 4 books published, The Good, The Bad and The Ugly, which is basically a season summary for the team. It's been, I think the first one was in the 18-19 season, and it's been each season since the last one was the 21-22 season where we got the cup double. So I'll put the links down below in the description, and remember, we're on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and of course good old-fashioned www.thelfcfile.com. So please check us out, like, subscribe, spread the word, and let's grow the community, guys. We got a great team. Let's make a great podcast to match. Take care all, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the game tomorrow, and until next week, peace from the LFC File.